Hey, Eric, you know where Greg is?
No, where's that?
Did he leave the meeting? Did he leave the?
Let's see.
I don't know if he left.
Boys, I see Greg, but he's got his mic on mute again.
I'm a good now. Somebody
Oh, there
muted
he
me.
is. Yep.
Yeah. Can you see me?
Yeah, we got you now.
Where do you? I don't see him.
I'm in the
Oh, there he is. I see you, Greg.
Okay, folks, good evening. Welcome to the BankTEL Grand Finale of Startup Summit 2021. We're excited to see tonight's competition where we're going to have winners from each of the previous divisions competing tonight to win the grand prize. So before we get started, I would like to introduce you to our fantastic panel of judges who have taken time out tonight to listen to pitches and give us their thoughts on who's going to be the top startup of Mississippi State University for this year. So let's have the judges introduce themselves. We'll start off with Mr. Daniel Harrington. Thanks for joining tonight. Welcome.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Yeah, my name is Daniel Harrington. I'm a 2011 graduate in electrical engineering. I also have the Hatcher Entrepreneurship Certificate, so +1 to all you guys doing that one. Had a variety of startups throughout my career. I'm currently the product manager for Vroom, for everything data science and AI. We are a used car retailer. We buy cars and deliver them to your door. Not a startup anymore. We had our IPO last summer, which was quite a ride. So excited to be here. Thanks.
Thanks, Daniel. Let's go over to Mr. Jabari. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm Jabari Edwards with J5 Solutions. We do environmental work around the country, primarily though in the Southeast, some Midwest, and we do epidemiology consulting in other countries around the globe with our company Skylore. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thanks for joining, Jabari. Next up, Mr. Greg Rader. Welcome.
I'm Greg Rader. Thank y'all for me. I'm a graduate from engineering at Mississippi State in 1984. When I graduated, I worked for Occidental for 3 years. I took over our family recycling corporation, and I sold it to a private equity company in 2017. Now I'm retired.
All right. Thank you, Greg. Appreciate you for joining. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Boyce Adams with the big fish on the screen there.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Eric. Glad to be here. Proud of all you guys for getting this far. It's a great accomplishment. 1980 graduate of the business school at Mississippi State, marketing major. And my first venture I started went broke. I went broke doing that. And then I was stupid enough to do it again. I went broke. And then the third one I did for 28 years. And we sold to a venture-backed fintech in late 2019. We're still working with them. I'm still doing some work, but doing some other things like the fish in the background. So look forward to hearing what y'all have to say and listening to your plans. So
awesome. Thank you, Boyce. Okay, so now that we've heard from our judges, let's go on to tonight's competition. Before we start hearing from pitches, we would be remiss without thanking our fantastic sponsors, BankTEL Systems from Columbus, Mississippi. We have Industry Services Co. out of Alabama and Reed Food Technology out of Jackson, Mississippi. Thank you to our sponsors for making this week's possible competition. And of course, BankTEL is our headline sponsor tonight for tonight's grand prizes. The competitors who have been competing in other divisions all week long, we're looking at the winners from those who are now competing for 3 prizes. The first place prize is $5,000. The second place prize, $2,500, and the third place prize, $1,000. Folks joining us online, don't forget you can vote for the People's Choice. Go to the YouTube description, click the links for People's Choice, and you can pick the winner for a $250 prize. So without further ado, our first contestant tonight is going to be Answers Analytics. Answers team, if you're on, please feel free to join and share your slides.
All right.
And whenever you're ready, take it away, gentlemen. Let's roll.
Everyone, I am James Waters. I'm here with AJ Moriel, and we are Answers Analytics, the only real-time in-game data analysis software available in the football market. So right now, when you watch a football game, there is a GA or a lower level coach up in the press box, and he is actually writing on a piece of paper, a hard copy, everything that he's seeing on the field, whether it's a back set, whether it's motion, the down and distance, anything that he feels important that might reveal some of the opponent's tendencies for that game. And so this comes to a surprise to a lot of people with all the technology that's available out there. Why are they still handwriting this? Especially when there's analytical tools such as Pro Football Focus. But every single product out there, such as Pro Football Focus, is cloud-based and requires internet connection. And so none of them can be used in the press box because the NCAA and the NFL have a strict no internet policy for the press box. And so what we decided to do is make a solution that works offline, and we came up with Answers Analytics. So this is the typical interface for Answers Analytics. It's just a spreadsheet. It has the same look and feel as a spreadsheet. However, every row is actually going to auto-populate with columns, with data from columns from the previous row. So things like down and distance will auto-populate for them to make collecting this data a lot faster, a lot easier, and it's in the coach's terms, naming it whatever they want to call it. And as they're typing this data in, they're actually getting real-time feedback with graphs such as opponent tendencies, and their play calling and their win-loss percentages based off of their own self-scouting play calling. So here's just a couple screens that we have available that'll be rolling out, kind of featuring some of the services that we're going to be offering with our MVP that we're going to be releasing this spring. And so what you're looking at here, this is real data that we actually used in our Kentucky game last season. And so on the left side of your screen here, you can see that's where their coaches are actually inputting their data. And then in the bottom right, that's all the graphs that they're getting out from it. And so the reason this data can be very useful is you hear about how are coaches going to work? How are they going to adjust at halftime? What are they going to do? How are they going to adjust their play calling? And so when you're getting these graphs and this data in real time, you can see that if Kentucky comes out in a gun far back set and they do not motion, they are 4 times more likely to pass the ball. And so this information can be relayed from the press box down to coaches on the field via headset, and the coaches can adjust their play calling. They can give this information to their players to look for certain cues and make adjustments accordingly.
So with a product like this that gives you such a competitive advantage, the market's pretty large as well. We're currently targeting anybody that plays football. There's about 893 college teams, over 16,000 high school teams, or 32 pro teams, And as the game kind of increases in popularity overseas, we feel like those are markets as well that we could address. We currently have a total addressable market of about $1 billion. And with our ability to collect data and store it in the cloud, we feel like the options are endless as far as where that data could be used, such as e-gaming, esports, fantasy football, betting, et cetera, et cetera. Right now, we're the only in-game analytics platform that exists currently. But we're competing for budget space. Universities are given a lot of money to play with. Last year at Mississippi State, we spent $265,000 alone on software. That was in a COVID year as well, so we were not really affected by that as far as spending went. A lot of our competitors focus primarily in video, and there's a lot of surface level analytics platforms out right now, but they don't really speak in your terms. And oftentimes a quality control coach, a GA, or an intern will have to fact check their stats as well. Our target customer is an interesting group. We're targeting football coaches, especially on the lower levels. Our lower level coaches, such as our quality control coaches and GAs that were mentioned earlier, are actual users of the product. But who would pull the trigger on it would be our position coaches and coordinators and head coaches. These are the guys that develop game plans and need instantaneous data as fast as they can get it. Who writes the checks? The director of football operations. Basically, if the head coach or coordinator wants something, he will sign off on the check and give that money to whoever is asking for it. How are we going to sell this? We're going to use our personal network and strategic relationships that we have in the coaching community. I coached in the SEC for 3 years as a recruiting assistant. A couple of our other team members as well have some playing and coaching experience. We're going to sell this thing on an annual subscription model. You can see the prices averaged out for each level of play on the right-hand side there. These are best fit to the budgets of those different levels of football and different athletic departments' budgets as well. We currently have letters of intent to use our product in the springtime and summertime from a lot of major universities. These are 6 of them that we currently are talking with actively. We're also rolling this thing out in about 2 weeks to be used in the Wisconsin spring season. So we're going to have a live in-game usage of the product coming soon. So to kind of summarize everything that we've been over, Answers Analytics is the most powerful football software on the market. It's the only real-time in-game analytics system that can be used to help coaches prepare for games and check into different situations as the game's going on. Our data is more meaningful than our competitors, meaning that everything is in your terms and is defined by you, the coach. It's not defined by a part-time employee or intern. It's defined by you. It's defined by your guys, meaning that we can get better reports and better data out of our analysis and our software.
Gentlemen, that'll have to be time. We need to move to Q&A.
Awesome.
Perfect.
We have 3 minutes.
Hey, AJ, this is Boyce. I've got a couple of questions.
Yeah.
You know, when we talked, a year ago or so, you were doing more of the high school. You shifted to this. This is interesting. Is it you just saw a need for this? I mean,
yeah. So the shift kind of happened when I was hanging out with my buddy John. He had kind of kickstarted some of this stuff, and I thought that it ended up being a long conversation. But he wanted to go pursue some full-time opportunities in coaching, and I didn't.
Right.
So I hopped on with his team. I still have the license and agreement with my my own recruiting software as well, but this is something that I'm currently the president of as well.
But let me ask you this. This is interesting. Is there any potential for AI in this, as far as when it starts learning a team's tendencies, that you can pre-fill just based on what they've done? They've done this 60% of the time. I mean, James, I see you shaking your head.
Yeah, I'll let James take that one.
Yes. Absolutely. And so another feature that we want to add is actually game planning with this software. So you'll be able to take all your previous data and it'll show you your more successful plays when it's second and short, your most successful plays on 1st and 10, based off run and pass and based off different defenses. So absolutely, we will get into the AI aspect. Some coaches like the AI aspect and some coaches do not. And so we're going to make that an option, because some coaches.
Yeah, you can turn it on and off. Yeah.
Correct, because some coaches don't really trust it. They just want the data and they can make their own choices.
Right.
So we love that option.
Yeah, this is interesting. Okay, cool. Any other questions?
I mean, you took mine there with, are you focusing more on data analysis or providing answers? So I'm going to ask the question I thought you were going to go after, which is, how do you get to $1 billion addressable market when we talk about $30,000 a year for pro and Power 5 teams? How big is that market in a given year for revenue?
Yeah, it's something that we see continuing to grow in the field. Sports has been kind of behind on the times with software spending, but that number is continuing to grow every year. And I touched on it briefly, but we're collecting this data in the cloud, meaning that we have all these different formation tendencies, down and distance tendencies. So we believe that we can license that data out to people that either sportsbook, like if you're trying to make some money on betting on who's going to score the next touchdown live, we think we can license that data out to fans or Vegas as well. So that's kind of how we're getting that number. We're combining a lot of different.
Yeah, I missed that. You can't use the internet to make the decision at this time, but you can still log all of the data and build really robust models that can be used in the next game.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Assuming the team will let you have the data. That's the question.
Yeah, and we've kind of played around with an idea of hiring, and this is 5 years from now, hiring a full-time guy to sit there and broadcast almost like a Twitch stream of him using the product and breaking down the game as he's seeing it, and kind of venturing into the gambling market or fantasy football market via that.
That's okay.
So when you speak of $1 billion TAM, what will be your biggest threat in achieving that goal? So from a competitive standpoint, what can your competitors sort of point out as a weakness if you're going up against somebody else for a client?
one weakness that somebody pointed out was, what if the NCAA or the NFL changes the rules to not allow any computers at all instead of just not allowing internet because of our product? However, the way we kind of saw that was, if we're making a big enough splash that the NCAA is trying to change the rules based on our software, that means we've done pretty well for ourselves and we will already have that data, and we can kind of pivot from there because we will have made such a splash. But from a competitor standpoint, I mean, they'd have to really change their entire products if they wanted to be able to take it offline, because they've built their infrastructure around being only cloud-based as opposed to an offline to online database sync like we have.
Yeah, and to tag along with that, a lot of our competitors are video focused right now, so they have, the games uploaded to their system already. That could be a weakness in that we are not going to provide video. We don't really want anything to do with video just because it's a super saturated market at all levels of football. But it could be a weakness, obviously, as well.
Folks, that'll have to be our last question. Thank you. Good job, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Good job. Thank you.
Okay, next up, we're going to go over to Miss Stone Vincent with the Mycelium Leather. Feel free to share your slides when you're ready.
Can everybody hear me, see me okay? Give me a nod.
We can.
All right, awesome. Let me get this shared with everyone. All right, now everyone can see my screen, yes?
Yep, when you're ready, let's roll.
Okay. Let me get back to the beginning here. Okay, so hi everyone, my name's Stone. I've had the opportunity to meet with quite a few of you before, but today I'm going to talk to you guys about my product, which is Manko Leather, a sustainably grown alternative to current leathers available on the mass market. So before we talk about anything else, let's talk about why we even need to make the change and why there's problems with current leathers that we buy today. Of materials created from the leather production process, only 20% is actual leather product, which means the rest is solid and liquid waste. This makes the leather industry a very wasteful and ineffective industry, using a massive amount of land, water, labor, and a multitude of other resources to create a comparatively small amount of product. Now, this is a photo taken in the neighborhood of Hazaribagh. This neighborhood in Dhaka, Bangladesh maintains 90% of all the tanneries in the country. So there's really no better place to represent the negative impacts the leather industry has on people and the environment. Now, before I move on to the next slide, I want you to take note of that body of water that's right there next to that little girl. And then I want you to look at this list of chemicals. These are the chemicals that you'll probably find in that body of water because these are the chemicals used to make leather. These chemicals have incredibly harmful effects on public health, biodiversity, soil fertility, and available fresh water in areas where bovine leather tanneries operate. This is due to the relatively low rates of chemical retention that leather has, as you can see pictured in the white parts of these graphs. So about only 15% of those chemicals are actually retained and the rest go into wastewater. So contemporary alternatives can primarily exist of polyurethane. So I know all of you have had some sort of pleather item, whether it be shoes or a bag, and they just don't last. They just don't last long. They squeak, you get them wet, they're ruined. And to add on to that, they also don't biodegrade. So these are just going straight into landfills and causing a whole host of other problems. So now that we know why there's a problem, let's talk about a possible solution. In this case, I believe the solution is my product, Manko Leather. So let's talk a little bit about mycelium, which is the main component of Manko Leather. Mycelium is the root system of mushrooms. It's grown underground in densely packed networks to provide nutrients for the fruiting bodies. However, when grown in the right conditions, mycelium provides a durable, naturally hydrophobic, and shockingly leather-like material with easy to manipulate physical properties. Now, although this material is very new, well-established brands have already shown interest. So, for example, this Hermes bag is a collaboration between the luxury French brand and a company that we'll talk about more in a moment called MycoWorks. So this bag is entirely made of mycelial composite or Manko leather. Companies like MycoWorks and Bolt Threads already produce mycelium-based leather for a very limited number of uses, so basically just shoes and bags. And even though they're only taking advantage of that small portion of the market, they've already found loads of success. So MycoWorks actually just received $45 million in Series B funding for their iteration of mycelium leather. These companies have partnered with brands like Hermes, as you saw before, Adidas, Stella McCartney, and Kering, so big, high-quality brands. However, despite this, there are still some problems with the current product. So I've actually had the opportunity with speaking with the head product development scientist at MycoWorks, and I got to learn a lot about what the current quality issues are with MycoWorks' version of leather. So essentially, a thinner, softer leather has been difficult to obtain, limiting the material application to bags and shoes, which need a sturdier leather. And due to current substrate use, material does brown and age over time. This material is also not entirely biodegradable. They actually use synthetics in their production, so these materials still don't biodegrade. And they only utilize one species of mushroom, which is the reishi mushroom. Our new method of mycelium leather production addresses each of these quality concerns, making the patent of our process all the more valuable. As mentioned, most every brand of mycelium leather uses one species of mushroom. We are actually taking advantage of 8 as of now, and that number is growing quickly. You can see some of these pictured on the screen. So let's talk a little bit about our business model. Now that you already know why a patent on this method of production would be considered valuable, let's talk about licensing. So basically, brands are going to want what we have. Through licensing, we can make a considerable profit, allowing other brands to produce mycelium leather using our original method. By specifically targeting the quality concerns that we know these brands are facing, we can ensure that our product will be a valuable asset to these companies moving forward. Our other option is to create, manufacture, and sell myco leather to our own set of consumers. These would include, but are definitely not limited to, leather craftsmen, tanneries, and product designers in the fashion, furniture, and automotive industries.
So we are actually out of time. We're going to need to move to Q&A. Right on time. There we go.
Yeah,
all right.
Perfect.
Take it away. Q&A.
What's the cost difference of the leather of what your is in regular leather and the durability difference?
In regards to bovine leather or in regards to other mycelium leathers?
Well, all leather. Yeah, I would think mycelium leathers.
Well, they're cheaper than all of the above. They're significantly cheaper than bovine leather. And they are cheaper than MycoWorks and Bolt Threads methods as they limit the transfer of mycelium. So basically you inoculate one substrate, it grows in that, and then it's done, rather than having to grow it in several different stages and constantly moving it, which risks contaminants and wastes a lot of time.
Hey, Stone, I was reading the press release on the other company, and is what you're doing the fact that you're using multiple species of mushroom versus the one, or is it, I mean, what exactly is different than what the other company's doing?
So it's almost entirely different. So we're using different species of mushrooms, different combinations of mushrooms, but we're also growing on different growth substrates and in completely different growth environments to make a thinner, softer leather that can be applicable for a lot of different uses.
And that's what the patent's for, though,
yes,
right? The patent is the way you're, I got you. Okay. Have you filed a patent yet?
No, we just started this last semester. So we've had a very, very short amount of time. However, in that time, we've made strides. I'm very happy with how far we've come. And I do believe that we'll have that product done and that patent filed by this summer.
Okay. Okay.
Stone, this is a very interesting product. I actually serve on the National Environmental Justice Council. We have a national board meeting next week, and this is something that would be appealing to a lot of them. But my question to you would be about supply chain, sort of piggybacking off of Boyce's question when he asked about you using a variant of strands. What would be, where would you get your supplies from? Do you have a large enough farm? In thoughts of scalability, what happens if you got several large orders?
So the great thing about mushrooms is that once you have one set of spores, you can reuse that indefinitely. All it takes is one little piece of mycelium and it can grow into a whole new sheet of leather. So all of these materials are completely renewable and even renewable, just within your production abilities. So right now I'm working with 8 different mushroom species. I will never have to repurchase those mushroom species. They're forever going to be able to be reused. As well as the substrate that it's being grown in, we are using a combination of ag waste and other renewable materials. So in regards to the products that we're using to make this, it's very, very cheap and very renewable.
Okay, and that'll have to. Thank you, Stone. Great job.
Thank you.
All right, next up, moving over to Alyssa Olive.
Hi. So to introduce myself, my name is Alyssa Olive. I am very passionate about lifestyle changes. And just to let you know a little bit about me, I am a graduate of Millsaps College and I got my bachelor's in business administration. I thought that was important since I am the only member of my team, just to let you know a little bit of my background. And so you see that this company is spelled Olive, but it's pronounced Alive because everything that we offer, and I do mean everything that we offer, is geared toward helping you improve your quality of life. So every business has a problem that they're trying to solve for people. There are only 8% of adults in America who meet the daily fruit intake recommendation. And just to let you know, that's only about 2 cups. So that's not very much. And think of all that we eat in a day, and you can't even get, only 8% of us are getting the recommended amount that we need. And even less than that, only 6% are getting the daily vegetable intake that we need. And that's important because you need basically means that we as Americans are malnourished, and you need nutrition to do everything that you do in a day. You need it to focus, you need it to be present at work, whatever else you're doing with your family. It basically is what fuels you. And so we think of these columns as people, and let's say like it's hard for you to make healthier choices because of the people around you. If we're able to change the culture around an area that you're in, then it's going to make it easier for you to make healthier choices. And then somebody around you is going to make healthier choices as a result, usually. So let's say your coworker sees something that you have and they're like, oh, what is that? And so we're also in a rural city in Mississippi. Kosciuszko is very small, and we have no competition that's similar to us within a 60-mile radius. And while that's good for us, it's sad for the community because they don't have very much access to nutritious, good quality foods. To move on, your kid's teammate might come, they only have access to what their parents choose to provide to them. So let's say they're getting a 4 for 4 before their games, but if your kid comes and they have one of our juices, they might ask, what is that? And that could change the entire trajectory of what they start to give them from now on. And just imagine, it could really affect anyone you could think of, not just this group. And so our juices are made completely out of produce, only fruits and vegetables. And the amazing thing about it is it strips the produce of the insoluble fiber, so your body does not have to work to digest it. You can absorb the nutrients instantly. And a lot of people use these for healing. The great thing about what we do is we don't advertise it that way entirely, because we want people to think that they're just getting a juice because it's easier for them to get it to their kids. And so really you're healing yourself, but really you're just thinking that you're just coming to get a drink in some instances. They help increase energy levels, they improve your metabolism, they balance hormones, and they detox your body. We also have Cmos Gel, and your body is made up of 102 minerals. Cmos Gel contains 92 of those. You just take a spoonful of this right here every day. And a huge amount of other things. It fights anemia. It's really high in iodine, aids in digestion. It helps with the intestinal lining to do that. It boosts energy. I've had it completely change my life. And so we started out in July selling at pop-up shops. And then we saw such a demand that we started selling at the farmer's market every week, and we consistently sold out. The last time I sold at the farmer's market, we sold about almost 600 bottles, and that was only in one day. And we always sold only one day. I would also do local delivery in Starkville before I moved, and now we have a storefront that is opening very soon. We just passed our inspection this week. I also market by creating strategic partnerships. So I do speaking engagements at local schools. I was at our junior high just 2 weeks ago. I have relationships with the local gyms, and we have a customer loyalty program through our Square Register that we're going to implement. I have community groups that I'm a part of, as well as those that I'm not a part of, but they just make sense for us to work with, like farmers that I met at the farmers market, who will probably be some of the suppliers for some of our produce moving forward. And of course, the athletic and other teams in the area, like gymnastics or dance. We're on the downtown square in Kosciuszko. And so we have a lot of those venues very close to us within walking distance, which is amazing. And we also allow people to host small general meetings in our space after hours. And we'll now take questions.
So from your juicing standpoint, because we hear of a lot of juicing companies out there and juicing brands, what would you say is your differentiator? What would separate you from everybody else?
Great question. So our juice is cold pressed. You have 3 different types of juices: centrifugal, masticating, and cold pressed. Cold pressed juice is the highest quality of juice that you can find because it does not heat the juice when it's producing it, so that it keeps the highest amount of nutrition and enzymes in the juice. And we also don't add anything to our juices that's not produce. So no artificial colors, no artificial flavors, no anything really. And we also don't just sell juices, we provide a service. So people often come in and get advice about lifestyle changes. I've actually had several people come in. There's one lady who's been taking our Cmos Gel, she's a diabetic. Her A1C levels are so low that her next checkup is going to be taking off her medication if they continue.
Is that the Nature's Vitamin?
Yes, sir.
Click on that again. Is that, you take a spoonful of that? Is that?
Yes, sir. Just one spoonful every day.
Wow. How did you come up with that?
So it's actually not my creation. It's been around forever. It's just not very popular in the United States. So I'm hoping to just get the word out about it to people. And it really is spreading like wildfire. When I have one person tell the benefits, like their friends, I have like an entire group of coworkers come begging me for it.
How long does it take to make a difference?
To feel benefits. So you're taking it every day. It's going to take about a week or two to start feeling anything. But everybody is different, so it's really interesting to see who says what within those 2 weeks.
So my question is, how does it taste?
It does not taste great. It's like seaweed, sea moss that like grows in the ocean. I actually have to wash it for a very long time. I blend it with spring water only, and I put limes in it to help with the taste, but I tell people it's just like a shot. You just swallow it real quick and chase it with something. And so that works out pretty well.
You're producing the Cmos Gel? You're not buying it and selling?
No, yes, I make it myself. I get the Cmos directly from Jamaica in its raw state, and then I soak it for about 24 hours, wash it, blend it.
What are the shelf lives for both the juice, I guess, with non-additives or preservatives, and as well as this?
Great question. So our juices are not pasteurized, and that's a very strategic choice by me. So they only last between like 6 to 7 days in the fridge, but Cmos Gel is going to last you about a month in the fridge, or it can last you 6 months frozen.
And how do you overcome that short lifespan on the juice?
On the juice, I can freeze juice and it can last longer. I don't. I actually don't have that problem because people come and get the juice as soon as we sell it. I mean, as soon as we make it, really. Like it's a huge demand for the juices. I have people coming from surrounding towns coming to get it.
Cool. Thanks.
Because they actually are healing, especially like I put ginger root in a lot of them, and it's crazy how it affects inflammation in your body. I've had a horrible back, and it has done wonders for me as well. And so I actually had a lady stop me in the middle of the road begging me to make her up just ginger root by itself. So it's really, it's the most rewarding thing I've ever done.
Great presentation. Nice job. That'll have to be our time right there.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to our next team, we have Triton Aerospace. Gentlemen, when you're ready, feel free to share your slides.
Are you able to see the screen?
Hello. Can you?
Not yet.
Stand by. We're having
Okay.
a small technical glitch. Alyssa, can you stop sharing your screen?
I am so sorry. I'm actually not on the computer that I was using.
Oh, there we go. It just logged it out. No problem. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Triton guys, we have your slides up now. Whenever you're ready, let's roll.
Sure. So hello, everyone. We are Triton Aerospace. We are trying to build a long endurance modular hydrogen fuel cell powered UAVs for commercial and military applications. I'm Shubham, and this is Aditya with me. Have you ever wondered how the future of last mile delivery looks like? With automation being aggressively pushed for supply chain, drone deliveries are the next frontier. According to Valuet's report, by 2030, the autonomous last mile delivery market size is predicted to reach 40 billion US dollars. The predicted drone industry growth by 2024 is about 15% per year for military and defense, 16% year for disaster management. However, there are certain challenges that need to be addressed to use all the benefits offered by UAVs. Consumer UAVs run on traditional lithium-ion batteries, which provides only a limited flight time of under 40 minutes and extended charge times. Also, most off-the-shelf drones are not customizable, and customers have to use standard softwares for a multitude of mission flight conditions and needs. Triton Aerospace provides a one-stop solution for modular hydrogen fuel cell-powered UAVs with extended range. Fuel cells running on hydrogen have higher energy to mass ratio than battery-based systems and can be refueled in minutes. Triton Aerospace provides an environment-friendly solution for extending the range and operational ceiling by up to 3 times and reducing charge times by up to 20 times with heavier payloads in a simple, cost-effective, robust, and lightweight package. Each Triton drone is also custom fit with a sensor package and a subscription-based software package tailored for the unique needs of the customer.
So talking about the product overview, what we're trying to bring on the table. So we're going with some hardware solutions. So 3D printed chassis and carbon epoxy fuel tanks, all of them will be made by us. We already have the capability to 3D print our chassis system. We are also going with some standard choice of sensors. So every drone that we build is going to be included with a 4K camera, but we are also going to make it more modular and more customizable, where you can upgrade to a LiDAR, thermal imaging, or infrared vision, depending on what you need. Talking about the software solution, so we are working on Triton UI. So what we're trying to do is integrate all these different systems, such as flight control data, live video feed, and ability to capture images and videos into one UI that can be based just like a Unity program or a app. And you can use that for all of them, controlling all of them, and then as well as watching the live video. We're also looking into some of the cloud storage / streaming services now that the 5G services are really robust. So we are looking into those as well. And we also are going to provide with some upgradable software packages that will go with different sensors. So for example, LiDAR and thermal imaging. Talking about the technical details, here are the technical details for the first 2 prototypes that we are currently trying to build. The first one is Eagle Light and Eagle Heavy. We already have the rendering for the CAD model in the center. We provide with two different configuration, and the only difference we have here with light and heavy version is the power plant. So Eagle Light is going to have a very lightweight configuration where it is going to carry a payload of 12 pounds. But apart from that, all our specs are going to be same for Eagle Light and Heavy, except for the payload and the capacity of the power plant. So we are going to provide with the 2 hours of flight time, 10,000 feet of flight ceiling, and a range of about 20 miles.
So for the financial model, we have priced each Eagle Light to be at $6,500 and Eagle Heavy to be at $8,500. Considering all the costs that get into the building these drones, we have a gross margin of about 53 to 54% approximately. On the software end, we are going for a choice of 2 software subscription model where we are charging you $199 a month. Any additional software on top of those 2 will be charged at $49 per month. For operational costs for the first year, we are estimating it to be around $25,000 per year, and that would include the server maintenance costs for the licenses of the software and also equipment maintenance for the fabrication of the chassis and the fuel tanks. Projected 2023 is when we we are hoping to become fully operational with a net revenue of $67,000 for a 10-unit sale.
So let's look at the commercial market that we are trying to target actively. So the big 2 names are going to be logistics, such as medicine delivery and also delivery using logistical services like FedEx and UPS. But we're also looking into some military and defense application. But apart from that, we are also looking into broad variety of areas where a long endurance drone can be used. One of them is infrastructure monitoring and management, things like, looking into inspecting a power plant or a pipeline, disaster management, like trying to map, for example, wildfire or flood, and things like that. And in addition, we also have some application where we can have different sensor configuration for surveillance, as well as agriculture. Since we can have higher payload, we can have more stuff added to our drone, such as a crop spraying and things like that, and can be used for agriculture purposes.
So for outreach,
that'll have to be time. Unfortunately, we are at time. So let's go into Q&A. 3 minutes Q&A.
Where are you purchasing your fuel cells, or y'all making your fuel cells?
So for the initial prototype, we are trying to get our own, trying to buy from a third party, Intelligent Energy. For in the future, we are trying to develop our own fuel cell.
Cool.
Tell me that one killer application where the electric-based drones just don't have the flight time or power. What is
disaster management? For wildfire mapping, you cannot fly a drone for only like 25 minutes and be done with it. You would need the drone to fly for a longer time where you can map out where the fire is progressing and things like that. Same for infrastructure. If you're monitoring huge pipelines or even like bridge structures where you're trying to map out structural health monitoring sort of issues, you would need something that flies for longer than an hour.
And also for disaster management, our drones can fly at higher ceilings. So a battery-powered drone has a limitation on how high it can fly. We can go higher and for more time, and that way you get a bigger range of what you can do with the same drone system.
Let me ask you this. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead, boys. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, do you think the package delivery is something that's really got a future?
Yes, sir.
I mean, I know a lot of people are working on it.
Yes, sir. To our research, the last mile delivery, it's huge. And right now where the market is actually suffering is the flight time and the recharge time. So the overhaul is just so huge that they're basically getting killed because of those issues. And we are addressing those two. We're increasing the range, and we are also decreasing your recharge times by.
I wonder what the potential liability is for something like that. If you crashed into somebody's car or something and they had a wreck, I mean, the liability's got to be huge.
Yeah. So that's I guess has to do something with the FAA clearances that we have to look into once we get our prototype ready.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I know a lot of people are working on that.
That's right.
That's what I was going to ask you. Will the FAA let you fly to 10,000 feet?
So there are currently like clearances in place that we can get. Once we get those, yes, we can fly at 10,000 feet. So for that, we do need a completely working prototype, and then we can go through the clearance process from FAA.
Anything around the competitive landscape outside of electrical, just mostly other hydrogen fuel cell drones?
There are very few. There's only two people that are out there. There's B-Shark, and then there is Ballard, but Ballard was recently acquired by Honeywell, so they're not making it anymore. And B-Shark is there, but they're not modular. Their drones are really just not customizable. It's a very fixed structure. What we are offering is one of a kind, where we can basically get to the needs of each customer and deliver that hydrogen power to you.
Okay, and that'll have to be our last question. Thank you, gentlemen. Nice work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to our last pitch tonight. Chris with Mississippi Hatco, when you're ready, feel free to share your slides.
Hello, can you all hear me?
We sure can.
All right, great. So I'll begin the screen share. All right, can you see the slides properly? I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
All right, great. So my company is the Mississippi Hat Company. We sell custom couture high-end millinery. Mississippi Hat Company, our motto and slogan is the only hat company of the South. And we are the hat company of the South. And I am Chris Bernals, again, a marketing major here at Mississippi State University. And so one of the problems that I sought to fix for my company is that we did not have any hat companies in Mississippi that will offer high-end millinery with a reasonable price. Most people have to buy their hats for the Kentucky Derby, for church, and all those things outside of the state in New York and Texas and other areas. So I want to provide a company here in Mississippi where we can provide those hats and give quality and give good merchandise to the people of Mississippi. And one of our biggest solutions was to create custom, youthful looking and affordable hats. And we have done that. Thankfully, we have done a lot of custom hats, and we have been able to use our latest campaign was the campaign of have a hat that you can wear and be young and youthful while wearing your hats, saying that you don't have to look old in a hat. And that campaign went over very well. And we have young women that wear our hats from Atlanta, from New York, all the way to California. And so we have been able to offer those hats to various women across the United States. Our ideal customers, the women of the Church of God in Christ, which is a 6.5 million denomination in the Pentecostal realm. And then we have women in young women. We look to target young women. We look to target women of the Kentucky Derby. And our ages 18 to 20 has been our target lately because we're trying to get younger women in their 20s and approaching their 20s to get our hats, and it has been working very well. And as you can see here is a Sunday Best contestant that was featured on BET wearing one of our hats here, as well as the renowned Clark sisters. They recently debuted on Lifetime with a biopic about them, and they are big hat wearers and some of our clients as well. And here is the Holy Convocation held in Memphis, and as well as St. Louis from the Kojic, the Church of God in Christ. And we have thousands of hat wearers there that wear our hats. Our sales and strategy, we use marketing for social media marketing. We have most of our posts reach well over 1,000. We've went very viral with some of our posting. We posted last week for the first time in a couple of months. And in that time frame, literally a day, selling our smallest, one of our cheapest products, we had over $1,000 in sales off of that product within a couple of hours. And so our social media, that's what we really use. And we do a lot of collaboration with complementing designers. Robert Craig was the designer for the Clark sisters for their Lifetime biopic. And we do a lot of collaborations with him, as well as different designers really across the United States, where we'll put our products together or either showcase them at different conventions. Here is one of the face of our company, Miss Kayla from Atlanta, Georgia. And she is known everywhere for our hats. And I actually found out from a couple of my manufacturers that other designers were sending in pictures of her trying to get things duplicated. Unfortunately, they could not because I had those sold designs. But that's one of our sales and marketing strategies. And we do a lot of campaigns that target exactly what people want. If we know that they're looking for something youthful, I'll shoot out in big letters, youthful hats. And it will have a lot of engagements just off of those different campaigns that we have. Our competitive advantage is that we offer our hats under the market price. So the market price is, well, right here you see $600, $400 for most other designers. Here we have the hat girls. They are the official hat designers of the Kentucky Derby. And you have Shelly McDowell. She's been designing in New York for years. And so we'll keep our prices right under while still having a great profit margin in order to stay competitive while offering a very great quality and unique product. The typical cost of our hats are $25 for fascinators and $90 for our bigger hats. And we normally sell fascinators for $150 to $175, giving us a $125 to $150 profit margin, as well as our bigger hats. We sell those for $250 to $325 and some a bit higher. So we have a $160 to $235 profit margin off of those larger hats. And at conventions, we can sell literally hundreds of hats within that week. Some designers have left the convention selling making well over $80,000 within a week just off selling their merchandise because of the traffic of that convention. So that's pretty much how we do the pricing for our hats. We have manufacturers from Pennsylvania, from overseas. We get some stuff from London, but that's what we do. And that's how we keep ourselves competitive while coming out with unique designs. And we are currently launching our men's collection, as well as a new Kentucky Derby style collection. And we're doing more to get into the theatrical aspect of millinery, doing hats for theater or different plays and different productions to expand our brand and ultimately give a different product and stay competitive within the different markets for the hat industry.
Chris, that'll have to be time. We need to jump into Q&A.
Awesome.
So Chris.
Hey. Go ahead.
Okay, so my question to you is, you have a natural built-in market, unlike most people with the Kojic. So how do you capitalize on that particular market instead of the broad? Because I went to a Kojic funeral 2 weeks ago and every woman there had on a hat. How do you capitalize on that market?
So I'm actually at a Kojic funeral right now. I had to step out. What I do, I provide, when I see them, most of the time I have a client wearing one of my hats, or with that, in that market, I see there are a lot of hat designers in our industry, and I say, what can I do differently to get people's attention in a different way? And so I will oftentimes run different campaigns or present my hats in a different way that other people aren't, to get the attraction in the area. And we have a lot of different Kojic group chats. And so I'll post some of my unique designs and young women wearing them. And all the older women that typically wear hats, they'll say, wow, they want to look youthful. So they'll jump on that campaign. Wow, I can look younger doing this. So that's another strategy that we use to draw in those people. And within the Kojic market, everyone wears a hat. And so I just try to find a way to stay different while gaining that attraction with those women.
That's interesting. Tell me about your men's hats.
So the men's hat collection recently debuted on yesterday. We've been doing them. We offer different styles of fedoras, different felt wool fedoras, as well as different captain and smaller style hats for men. And I'm actually looking within next year to possibly get into the men's hat side of like cowboy hats, really expanding into the industry for those various hats.
I got you. Interesting.
Chris, I missed, you're doing mostly design. You're using outsourced manufacturers. Are you doing additional work to the hat after you purchase them, or is it anything direct to customer?
Yes, so I get the basic shapes manufactured at the factory. So they are pretty much sew the satin on, and I'll go and add in all of the stones, the embellishments, and at times I will create the actual shapes, but I get it all outsourced manufacturer. And that's one of my biggest interests for my business, because I have to get everything from Philadelphia. So I deal with a lot of shipping delays or delays within that actual manufacturer. So being able to buy and have it in stock helps with the production process and help with the production time. But that's what I do. I go in and I design, or I'll tell them the design or the sketch that I have for that particular hat.
So speaking of shipping delays, what are your future plans as far as bringing that in-house sort of vertical integration so that you don't have to deal with those problems?
So I'm looking at designs that I see that my customers buy a lot. For example, black hats. I know black hats I can never go wrong with, or white hats. So I try to keep those in stock. So when they do want something, I'm able to just quickly provide and turn around to them having that. Because one of our things is, if a woman is looking for a particular hat, they will settle for something else just because of it being available at that moment.
Okay, folks, that'll have to be all the time for Q&A. Chris, great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, folks, well, we just finished up the 5 pitches of the BankTEL Grand Finale tonight. Our judges now have to have a tough decision to pick the top 3 winners. The first prize is $5,000. It will be the top startup of Mississippi State for 2021. Second prize, $2,500. Third prize, $1,000. Don't forget People's Choice. Go on our YouTube site. Check the description, and you can vote for the People's Choice $250 cash prize. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a bit.
No, I love it, man. I love y'all for doing it.
All right, folks, welcome back. Our judges had a very interesting time in the deliberation room deciding how they were going to award tonight's competition. So those of you joining in, we just finished the BankTEL Grand Finale competition. We had 5 presenters, and our judges just heard their pitches and went into the deliberation room and selected tonight's winners. So I'm going to turn it over to them to share how we landed. Gentlemen, take it away.
I'll make a comment first. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. We got you.
Yeah, I just want to say I've never seen this happen before, but we just saw some of the best pitches I think I've seen, and every one of them had unique characteristics. Some of them were proven, already doing some business. Others were in the idea stage. We had a hard time trying to decide, but I think we decided to award 2 first place winners, a second place, and 2 third place winners. I think they're all winners in my book. And I think that I want to let the other judges talk about each one of the companies, but we just felt like it was the right thing to do. We're so proud of y'all. It was great. So Eric, go ahead and talk about the 2 first place.
Oh, we got to turn it to you guys to announce the awards now. So I think who was announcing the 2 third place winners?
I am. So again, I would like to echo what Boyce's statement. This was very exciting to judge. It was indeed an honor on my part, and I am excited to be able to award the 3rd place winners, Mississippi Hat Company and Olive, as our 3rd place winners in this competition. And as Boyce and the rest of the judges say, you all are winners, and I'm excited to be a part of this. So congratulations.
All right, good job, team.
Great job. And,
all right.
And go ahead.
Who's got 2nd place?
Boys, you go ahead and do 2nd and 1st.
Now go ahead and do 2nd.
I'm lost.
I've got the people's choice. Do you want me to step in and do the people's choice?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead and do the.
Okay, so I've got the people's choice. 3,000 plus votes, which is pretty wild. I wasn't expecting that one, but it seems like we have a pretty wide audience. People's choice was Mycelium Leather. So congrats to them.
Okay, Greg, you want to?
I'm kind of lost in these notes. You go ahead and do 2nd place, boys, in 1st place.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and do. Hey, Eric, what was the other company in 2nd?
Yeah, the 2nd place company. Congratulations, Chris, with Mississippi Hatco.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what Chris.
Oh, sorry.
That's. Yeah, congratulations, Chris.
Thank you.
All right, Boyce, you want to take the 2 first place?
The first place, obviously, Manko Leather, which is what we thought a lot of. It potentially will have a huge impact on the leather market. We've already seen some movement with using mushrooms and making simulated leather, and we think that's got a big opportunity. But also Triton Aerospace is another big potential market that we think they should share 1st place. It's just 2 great ideas and 2 great potential companies. So that's 1st and 2nd place. I mean, that's first place, sharing first place.
All right, folks. So just to recap the awards, for our 2 first place winners, we had the Mycelium Leather and Triton Aerospace. Congratulations. Our 2nd place winner was Mississippi Hatco. And our 2 third place winners were Alive Juicery and Answers Analytics. And just to be clear, our judges tonight decided that because they wanted to do this arrangement for awards, that they're fronting extra money. So nobody's having to split the awards. Everybody's receiving the full award amount. So how about we give these judges a round of applause for helping you all out tonight.
Yeah, great. We're glad that we're so organized, and if, when I'm involved in something, it becomes very cloudy. But I'm just proud of Eric and the E Center and all the students. We think the world of it. Gives us a lot of excitement to help y'all and get involved, because y'all all provide good energy, and that's what we're here for.
Folks, thanks for joining tonight. I think you've seen no finer example of what it means to have a community of entrepreneurship, and the support that you have in the Mississippi State Alumni Network and Friends of the University. Teams, great job for presenting. Don't forget, it's all about waking up tomorrow and working on the business. So keep working and know that you have support network here. For those of you joining us online, thanks for tuning in for this week's competitions. Stay tuned. We're about to do the Alumni Division. You won't want to miss it. See you in a bit.
See you, Jeffrey.
See you, Jeffrey.
Let me judge something else. I really blow it up, Jabari. It was great. I appreciate y'all, man. Daniel, thanks.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
No, thank you, boys. It's amazing.
Thank you, man. Okay.
Okay, and finalist participants, don't forget, you all are judging the Alumni Division here. So I'm about to put you in the judges breakout room, and I'll just give you a quick briefing. You all know the drill because you've done this a few times, and we'll get started shortly.
Daniel, I want to talk guitars.
Yeah, all right. I figured you want to talk business, but all right, we can talk guitars.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a PRS custom semi-hollow. We had our first child 2 months ago, and I told my wife I needed a semi-hollow so that it wasn't so loud as my electric, but it wasn't loud as the acoustic, but it wasn't soft as the electric. So, yeah. Oh, Eric muted you, so I can't hear you anymore.
You just need to keep buying them. You just need to keep getting them. Next time you come to Starkville, we'll sit down. You can plow through some of mine and tell me what you think.
I think I've decided that I'm going to live in Starkville every April for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Just every year, now that the world's remote, I'll just pick up and move to Starkville for a month during baseball season. And, spend some time plugging in where I can.
Yeah, we'll do some gigs at Dave's Dark Horse. It'll be fun.
Yeah, right?
Okay, folks, welcome back. We've had an exciting night. We just finished the grand finale and we are going to the Alumni Division. We have 3 competitors tonight and it's going to be a great fun time. We actually have our judges who are from the final competition as well joining us. And so before we get into the pitches, I want to let them give a brief 30-second of who they are. Let's start with Stone. Vincent, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Stone. Most of you have met me at this point. I'm a graduate student here at MSU. I've studied fashion design and merchandising with a concentration in product development. And I'm actually working on starting up my company, Manko Leather, making mycelial composite or sustainably grown leather alternatives out of mushrooms.
Awesome. Thank you. Moving on to our Triton Aerospace guys. You want to introduce yourselves?
Sure. Hello, I'm Shubham. I'm a PhD candidate in the Department of Aerospace Engineering here at M State. My work mostly depends on permeation characteristics of stitch composites for rocket fuel tanks and hypersonic tanks. I'll move it on to Shah.
Hello, I'm Alyssa Shah. Currently, we're working on building hydrogen fuel cell powered drones. I'm also a PhD student in the Department of Aerospace Engineering.
Awesome. Thanks, gentlemen. And Mr. Daniel Harrington's joining us. Daniel?
Not a student anymore, but I'm joining. Hey, I'm Daniel. I'm the director of product for vroom.com. We're an online used car retailer. We deliver your cars to your home. No longer a startup. We IPO'd this summer, which is really fun. I'm a 2011 graduate in electrical engineering, and I also graduated with the Hatcher Certificate of Entrepreneurship.
Awesome. Thanks, Daniel. Folks, before we hear our first pitch, I'd like to give thanks to our sponsors, BankTEL Systems, Industry Services Co., Reed Food Technology, and countless others who make this week possible for well over $30,000 of prize money awarded this week. First up, presenting tonight will be Mr. Landon Casey from Casey Interactive. Landon, are you on?
Yes, I'm on. Can you see my shared screen there?
Yes, sir. And when you're ready, feel free to take it away. You'll have 5 minutes for the pitch.
All righty. Let's see here. Let's get it on the thing. All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Landon Casey. I'm the founder and CEO of Casey Interactive. We're a prototyping and product development company focused on getting your idea out of your head and into the real world. We've seen a lot of amazing ideas this week at Startup Summit 2020, but right now I want you to think back on an idea you had. What'd you do? Did you write it down on a piece of paper? Was it a napkin? Was it an old crumpled up receipt with a dried up pen you found in your car and you're sketching it out in between stoplights because you just had to get the idea out there? And then you got home and, well, that report was due for work and you didn't know where to start and, well, you didn't have the time and you didn't have the expertise. And that's okay. I talk to people like this all the time. They've had an idea for sometimes 30 years and they were never able to make it happen. And so that's what we want to do. We want to help bring ideas to life by bridging the gap between napkin sketch and physical prototype. We do that through a contract client basis. We start with an initial consultation. Sometimes it takes 30 minutes, sometimes it takes 2 hours. We talk about the idea. What inspired the idea? What does an MVP look like? What are some features that you want to focus on when taking to investors, talking to customers, or maybe starting your Kickstarter campaign? And then once we have that information, we'll create a quote for you. And then once the initial deposit amounts have been made, we'll start development of your prototype. We'll send you updates, texts, pictures, videos sometimes, so that we're both on the same page through development. And then once final amounts have been paid, we'll send you the technical documents and the prototype itself, and then we'll go from there. On average, our prototypes cost roughly $3,000, but it can range greatly from $500 to $5,000. Know that 75% of that goes to labor, 20% of that goes to materials, and then the other 5% we temporarily set aside for a 30-day warranty for all of our prototypes. And then after that 30 days, we fold it right back into the business. Currently, we're working on small scale production, so 1 to 2 units at a time. But in the near future, we want to start doing beta unit production, so 5 to 20 units, allowing customers to test their product with customers in the field and outside of the lab. Finally, we'd like to move into small manufacturing. So maybe they don't need 5,000 units, but they only need 1,000. Traditional manufacturing might not be economical, and we want to be able to help them with that. So we focus on a main type of customer. We focus on inventors, entrepreneurs, and small businesses. For instance, Midline Educational, 1080 Motion, and IHMC. We know that these clients are active in their respective entrepreneurial communities. And so when they take a prototype to a trade show, show it to a customer, the question will get asked, hey, who made your prototype? And of course, it was us. We also want to build strategic partnerships with organizations such as Innovate Mississippi, the Mississippi State E-Center, and Winrock International, allowing us to gain clients, but also allowing us to get their teams through their programs and towards success faster than before. So as a small business, we have to focus on what matters. And for us, that's the customer experience. It goes right back to that word of mouth. We know that the idea space and the invention space can be a dishonest space. And that's why we want to promise 100% transparency. We'll tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. We'll tell you where we think you need to go and why we think you need to go there. We also are with you at every step of the way. We know that when we deliver a prototype to you, that's not the end of it. You're going to have questions. Your customers are going to have questions. Your investors are going to have questions. Your manufacturers are going to have questions. And we want to be able to help you answer those. And last but not least, we have around-the-clock support. If you want to send an idea our way, give us a call. We love hearing ideas. But if you want us to add a new feature to your prototype that we didn't talk about before, give us a call and we'll see what we can do. We've had the opportunity to work on some amazing projects over the past year and a half, whether it be revolutionizing the way teachers teach children in the classroom, to changing the way Olympic runners train, to helping people stop and fight nicotine addiction. It's the most fun job I've ever had. It's the most fulfilling job I've ever had. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk about it today. So with that, I'd like to open up for questions.
Casey, can you tell me more about your competitors in this space? I get your competitive advantage there, but who else is in this space? If I want a prototype, who else do I go to?
Right, so you can go to different companies such as InventHelp. While they don't have it kind of goes back to they don't have that great of a name. So InventHelp will help you build a prototype. There's also another company called Venus Design. That's another design group that does prototyping, and they start doing a little bit of manufacturing as well. And then Quirky, I think that's another company. They do a weird thing where they allow people to compete with ideas, and then the winning idea they actually take to market.
Cool. I'm sorry for calling you Casey, Landon.
That's okay. I get it all the time.
How big is your addressable market then, given where you're competing?
Well, we know that the prototyping space right now, at least as of 2018, is about 688 million. And so I think it's gaining about 12.91% per year growth. And so they think by 2021, it'll be up near 6 billion.
I have a question. So are you limited to certain type of devices or equipments or certain type of prototypes that you can make, or pretty much you can build anything?
We can pretty much build just about anything. That's what we try to focus on. And if something seems a little bit too out of scope for the project, we really want to focus on doing that customer development and making sure that that product is what they need to be for their customers. So, if it's a really complex prototype, we might talk them down a little bit to just focus on those certain features that are important.
Come on, Stone. I know you got a question for him. Maybe not. Landon, tell me about your supply chain as far as how long it takes you to build a prototype for someone.
So sometimes if it's a small plastic prototype piece, we could probably have it done in a matter of days. Whereas if it's a more complex, you need a circuit board, you need firmware, all that stuff. We need to send out for the circuit boards, bring those in, make them in-house. And then, so that might sometimes take upwards of maybe a month to month and a half. So it really depends on the device or prototype that we're doing.
Okay, I'd imagine more of the physical. How far do you stretch into the electrical design? Do you go from the napkin truly, or do they need to come with some sort of electrical design to you?
No, we go straight from the napkin. So we come up with the circuit design. So they basically say, we want it to do this. And then we use our knowledge from, so I'm a computer engineering graduate at Mississippi State. So I use my knowledge from what I know about circuits and electronics to make that happen.
Cool.
I had just one last question if there's some time.
Yeah.
Is there any like IP considerations when you're doing it? Like you mentioned that you're developing some of the circuits yourself. So how does the IP thing work?
Right. So we keep all the IP until final amounts have been paid. So for instance, whatever we make, we keep in-house. All our renders, pictures, everything, it stays ours until amounts are paid. But once that the final amount's been paid, we do have a contract that we sign. It's an NDA plus prototype contract agreement. And when we're done and the project's over, they get all of the IP related to it. So we just focus on building the prototype. They get to keep all the IP.
All right, that'll have to be our last question. Thank you, Landon. Great job.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, moving on to our next presentation. We have Justin Matthews.
Can you hear me?
We sure can. Yes, sir. And we got your slides. Whenever you're ready, take it away.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Justin Matthews, and class of 2014, and my company is Utter. And at Utter, we believe game night just got okay. So I want to ask you all a question. What did you play on game night? When I think back to my game nights as a kid, we played two staples in the board game community, and that was Scrabble and Monopoly. And as I got older, those games turned digital, and those were Heads Up and Piccolo. And these games are very different in their gameplay and their style, the goals that you're trying to accomplish. But one thing that's constant in all of these games is the social interaction and social engagement we get playing them with our friends and family. And a lot of these social interactions that we have today now are on social media. We all have social media accounts to our names. One that I'm particularly fond of, though, is Twitter. I love Twitter's viral moments that are happening every minute, the funny, reckless, interesting things that everyone's saying. And I began to think like, man, what if there were a way I could combine these viral moments that are happening on Twitter into a game that isn't outdated, that is personal to you, and that it's new and fresh, and it's not. And lastly can be played really anywhere, right? Especially in this virtual world that we live in now. And what was born was Utter. So I'm going to take you guys through a demo very quickly. So what I'm showing you now is utter.fun. This is our website that you can play the game on, so it can be played on any kind of device, right? A laptop, phone, etc. And what I'm going to take you through now is through our team mode, because we have multiple versions of the game. And in the team mode version of the game, you put in your own Twitter accounts, we pull the best tweets, and you guess who tweeted it. So it's real simple. Where I'm already in a game, imagine I'm at a game night and I'm playing with my fiance against my brother and his wife. So I'm going to minimize that so you can see the whole screen. On the left, the tweet, and it says, Mississippi State's East Center Startup Summit is upon us. I'm lucky enough to pitch in the Alumni Competition. Thank you for the opportunity for fueling entrepreneurial ideas. And you have people that may have tweeted it. So it's between me and my fiance. I've already guessed this one. This was, of course, me. And here I am today pitching. So I'm going to go through another question. And let's see, it's between my brother and my sister-in-law. Tough decisions made easier by a stand-up organization. So proud to be a part of this club. It has a link to it, so I can see the link and just see exactly to get a little bit more context. And it looks like I'm going to lose a little bit of time. Okay, I know that was Shayna. Let's do one more question. Look at these bootleg Sour Patch Kids. It's like it too. Okay, and it's chased. It sounds like something I would tweet, and that was me. So we would go back and forth in this game, and at the end we would get a score sheet, and we would see who would end up victorious. The other categories that we also have, because knowing not everyone has a Twitter account, we have other accounts where we've hand selected the best accounts from different celebrities, whether that be sports or TV and movies, and we've handpicked those and put them into these categories where even if you don't have a Twitter account and are just interested in playing, you still can. So I'm going to go back to the presentation. Perfect. So now that you know how to play the game and about the game, I want to tell you about who's all played thus far. We've had over 350 games played and over 100,000 laps created. Here are some of the ways that I've played. You can, at a Friendsgiving where we threw it up on the big TV and mirrored it there so everyone could see as people were guessing. I'm doing it over Zoom, as you just saw today. I've had multiple game nights like that as well, and a couple nights in person as well. So in true Shark Tank fashion, the question that always gets brought up are, what are your sales? Well, to date, we don't have any sales, and that was really by design because we wanted to make sure that we were first stable and that the game was fun to play. And now that we have both of those boxes checked, we feel like we're comfortable selling a product that people could use. How we would do that is through other categories where we can throw these categories up very easily and have accounts tied to them. And here are a couple that I already have ready to go. And the next one is through sponsored questions. So think if we were to do a fast food category, I could have Wendy's, McDonald's, et cetera, have certain tweets that they want to show up in the game, and I could immediately populate those. And we would, of course, take a fee to do that.
That'll have to be our time, Justin. Moving on to Q&A. 3 minutes for Q&A.
I had a question. I know you mentioned sponsored questions, but have you thought about maybe relying more on ad revenue? Because I know personally, I don't generally pay for, games that I use on my phone and stuff. I normally just, do the light version and watch the ads. Are you going to offer that option?
So yeah, great question. Definitely something I'm considering. I always initially want to shy away from doing ads just because I know as you're clicking through, just like you want to immediately get to the game. But it's definitely something I am churning in my brain and thinking like that is a potential revenue. First, I would love to do categories to just have something really specific that they could buy on. But then eventually I do want to add ads, but that's always like further back. So I want to just make sure you're playing the game as much as possible, but definitely something we are considering.
Okay, awesome.
Maybe on that topic of playing the game as much as possible, what's your engagement look like? What's the repeat usage? How many tweets do people usually go through when they play the game or any of the games?
Yeah, so I'm still working on a lot of, I've got my Google Analytics, and as far as the amount of like countries we touched, the United States particularly is where the majority of our users are right now, and some in India and some in Europe. And I'm still working on exactly.
Oh dear.
The timer's still going, so I know that works.
Is it just him that's frozen?
Yeah,
I think so. We'll see if he comes back here in a moment.
Yeah, I had my cat jump on my screen a second ago and close everything out for me. Who knows?
Oh, it looks like we lost him. Okay. Well, if he comes back a little later, we'll do just a minute or two for Q&A continued for him. We'll go ahead and move on to our third and final presenter tonight with Learn Animation Bootcamp. Mr. Terrance Green, when you're ready, feel free to load it up. All right, Terrance, whenever you're ready, take it away.
So my name is Terrance Green, Jr. I'm the CEO of Learn Animation Bootcamp. The bootcamp is going to teach you how to easily make high quality animated videos. First, I'm going to show you a piece of my work.
We are the Dean Allstate Agency. Here, we take pride in the trust our clients put in our agents to advise and help restore their families from life's unexpected events. Our job begins before the incident occurs, with a true assessment and advisement of the many risks present in our everyday lives. We do this by using our superpower of seeing you not just the way you are now, but where you may be in the future, and providing the right products customized for your protection and restoration.
So when I first came to the E-Center, I had a whole bunch of ideas, but one idea stuck with me, and that's making animated videos, because people simply love them and it works. And ever since I started, I made videos for 100+ clients, because people love them. When they first see them, they're just in awe. And so that's what I did. I created a software. Let's see, it's not working. Okay. I created a software that will teach you how to create videos just like you create a PowerPoint presentation. As you can see on the screen, the software that I use is just a drag and drop software. And throughout my bootcamp, I will not only show you how to create the videos, but I'll also show you the process that I use. That includes gathering the details you need for your video, and it also includes just the process of creating the script and the storyboard to be able to create these videos. And not only do I show you how to make the videos, but I also make videos for people who may not have the time to learn or may not have the time to, do videos themselves. So I still also make videos as well. So, and we're good on the financial side as well. We're only paying $114 a month as far as overhead, and that's it. Everything else is profit. And so when it comes to sales and marketing, we're reaching small business owners and entrepreneurs. But in the past year, we've also been focusing on nonprofit organizations, specifically minority nonprofit organizations, just because a lot of them don't know that it's available for them to be able to have an animated video for their organization. So here's the sales and marketing strategy we're going to use to reach those people. First, we're going to do workshops, webinars, and conferences just to show them that animation is available for them and how they can use it for their nonprofit and for small business owners. Then we're going to just be putting out free social media content on Instagram and YouTube, just showing people tips and tricks of how we make animated videos and just the different things you can do with the animated videos. And also we have customer-driven content. That's when we make videos for a customer and that customer puts on their video on social media and one of their friends come to us and say, hey, I need a video just like that. And we get a lot of revenue from that. And then also we just started an affiliate program. That's when people join our affiliate program and refer somebody and they get a percentage of the revenue from the people that they refer. And so when it comes to competition, we're not only competing with other animation courses, like the from scratch animation that takes time to learn and even takes time to do, but we're also competing against other advertising methods, and even competing against people who don't really want to advertise or may not know how to advertise. And what I feel like a strong competitive advantage for us is our process, animation, and simple. We make everything simple. Animation just attracts people, and just the process we go about it and that we teach is something that I just really haven't seen out there in the market. And we've really been tapping into the minority nonprofit sector. I'm a corporate partner with the National Nonprofit Minority Association, and that's the biggest minority association for nonprofits that there is. And I'm also their official video maker. And so I'm the only approved animator in that group. And then also, I say we're transparent almost to a fault. Like I'll literally just help somebody out just on a phone call, and that just attracts more people to us. And then just as far as where we're going in the future, I see Learn Animation Bootcamp just having multiple courses where it's just a library of resources to learn not only animation, but basic marketing things. Also, it's going to be an area to where people that learn how to make animated videos from us, we're able to outsource work that people come to us for, and we're able to outsource to them to help give them like a side hustle and make a little money. So picture kids in the summer or maybe college students having a side hustle. And then I can see us having a bigger affiliate team, not just a couple of people referring, but hundreds and hundreds of people that are referring others just because we're doing great work and they're also getting paid. And then just the last thing, I want a section dedicated to people who want to make virtual courses, because you can use animated videos to make courses. And now I want to turn it over for questions.
I really love this idea. I think animation is, one of the most effective communication forms for sure. But say I was a nonprofit or a small business, how much am I personally going to be paying for your service, say for one commercial?
So when you told me if I made a commercial?
If I was a nonprofit or if I was a small business and I was paying for this service, how much would this be out of pocket for me?
So for 30 seconds, it can be 250, 60 seconds, 350. And then for 90 seconds, it can be $500 plus a $25 voiceover fee. But I've also been working with nonprofits that may not be in their budget, because a lot of them are just starting out and they need something to get off the ground. And so I have customized pricing if it's out of their budget. And I also have pre-made videos as well, that where you can get 5-pack of videos where I just customize the templates that's in there, and you can get that for $100 as well. So I actually have a variety of resources that can fit your budget.
Okay, awesome.
Terrance, have you run anyone through this boot camp yet? What's some of the feedback you're getting on it?
So we had an early release where I only allowed 10 people to join, and in the first day we actually had 7 people to get on. And everybody who has joined the boot camp says it breaks everything down simply. We have a variety of audience that join. Some people have marketing agencies, a couple of people have nonprofit organizations, and some people are using this for personal projects. But they all say it's simple to learn. And the way I break it down is I put in 8 videos, and it's about 2.5 hours of content. But like the first part is about 30 minutes total. Second part is like an hour total. And third part is a total of an hour.
So of those 7 people, how many of them made it through all the content?
So far, 5 people have made it. The others, I see where they drop off is kind of at the 50% mark when it gets to right before on the video, because the first part is just focusing on, like I said, the process of creating the script and everything. And I see the ones that didn't finish stop like right before it got to actually making it, because usually if you're going to do something, if you don't really do it straight through and you take a pause and start doing something else, it's kind of hard to get back. So right now I'm just trying to figure out how I can get people just to keep going through.
What are your plans to capitalize on the people that did finish for repeat usage?
Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, how do you plan to capitalize on repeat usage, or someone that does finish the course? What's their next move?
So I plan to release a follow-up course that shows in intermediate things and then advanced. So like tips and tricks as far as maybe showing a chicken with his head cut off, things that may not be basic, but things that can prove a point, like showing, like let's say you're saying school is charging you an arm and leg, show you how to show people with a broken arm, broken leg, just things like that, and show you how to get inspiration to make more videos and to get better at your videos. Because I want my course to be like training wheels. I don't want you to rely on me, but I want to show you how to be able to operate on your own in the future.
That'll have to be our last question. Terrance, great job. Thank you very much. Okay, folks, that concludes the pitches from our Alumni Division. Our judges are now going to go determine the winners, 1, 2, and 3. We'll be back in just a moment. Okay, folks, welcome back. We have just finished judging deliberation of the Alumni Division of Startup Summit 2021. We heard 3 fantastic pitches from some recent grads and friends of the entrepreneurship program too. So we're excited to have them present and join us. We're going to award 3 prizes tonight, plus the People's Choice. Thank you all for joining us online and participating in that. So we'll turn it over right now to our judges to share tonight's winners. And we'll start with the People's Choice in 3rd place. Daniel Harrington's going to announce those. Daniel, who's taking home People's Choice?
I've got it. People's Choice, a fun one. Yeah, Learn Animation, Animation Bootcamp.
Congratulations, Terrance. Well done. All right, Daniel, who's taking home 3rd place?
3rd place, we're going, the one was Utter.
All right, congratulations, Justin. Well done.
Learn Animation.
Moving on to 2nd place, I believe the gentlemen over at Triton Aerospace are going to share who won 2nd place tonight.
So the 2nd prize winner is Learn Animation Bootcamp.
All right, congratulations, Terrance. Last but not least, Stone, who's taking home 1st place tonight?
1st place tonight is going to be Casey Interactive.
All right. Congratulations, Landon. Well done. Folks, thank you. All of you that presented tonight, joined in, watched a long week of competitions. We've seen some really exciting things happening in the Mississippi State student body population. We're thrilled to have joined in and watched some great ideas. We couldn't do it without our sponsors, BankTEL Systems, Reed Food Technology, and Industry Services Co. Folks, I hope you saw tonight the amazing family that is entrepreneurship among Bulldogs. We've seen it front and center with everybody joining as judging and donating and making it possible to share great ideas, make Mississippi stronger and the Bulldog family stronger. Thank you for joining in. We appreciate you being here, and we'll see you next year at Startup Summit 2022. Good night.